Welcome back to Refresh Those. I'm Jordan and we're back working on what I believe to be the cheapest 4.4 TDV8 L322 Range Rover. So this is the first actual video working Range Rover. Now in the background I have done some fixes. As was mentioned in the first video, the rear brakes, the caliper was sticking on. That's been addressed with a new caliper, well a used caliper, good one. New rear brakes. I did record a video on it, but I'm not going to use it because I had a few issues along the way and the content just wasn't clear enough. So I'm not going to use that. And I can't remember if I mentioned in the first video, but if I airbag issues at the front. But sure enough, within 2 days of actually using the car, the front corner was down and then the whole car was down its ass and I was driving on the bump stops. And that was due to this front airbag is all perished and cracked. So I do actually need to check out the offside as well, because there's a chance that that airbag is also knackered if it's original. Now this is original 2011. It hasn't done great, because I'm sure on my other two Range Rovers they've got original airbags, and they're older. So, but it has done 192,000 miles, so we'll give it a break. But the main reason we're in this video today is because when I bought the car, I had a fault code for the driver's side heated mirror, and then sure enough on the way back I noticed it wasn't working and the passengers also wasn't very effective. And then I noticed that the rear heated windscreen, the rear heated window also wasn't working. Not ideal, especially not when at the time we were well into minuses. So I've been on that, and in this episode we're going to fix all the issues. So if you've got issues with your rear heated window or your mirrors, I'm going to go through how to check the mirrors, how to check the wiring, and just all the basics. We're not going to go into too much detail on full fault finding system. We're going to go through all the common issues and how to check what the issue is and how to fix the issue. So let's crack on with that. Right, so the first thing I want to do in a minute is pop this mirror off. Now it's pretty easy. From the bottom, give it a pry, and you should just pop off in a second. Just take it careful. There we go. Now, conveniently, someone has previously broken my bracket here, so I'm going to have to fix that in a second. But what we've now exposed is the back of the mirror. So I know this one doesn't work, and this is what I've got my gap fault code for. So if we pop the ignition on a moment. Right, excuse the beeping Range Rover. So if we've got the mirror off now, what we want to do is we pop the mirrors on the dashboard. We'll turn our voltmeter a moment to volts DC, which is the line with the little dots, and we should be expecting across these connectors 12 volts at least. Depends on battery state. Bearing in mind these connectors could be a bit corroded, so it's hard to get a good connection. Right, my connectors are definitely corroded. It's hard to get a good connection. So let's just pop off the mirror glass a moment. Don't let these connectors short out on each other. So the mirror glass disconnected and popped off here. We've got our two connections. Now, it seems I've got to start the Range Rover up to get it to turn the heated mirrors on. Right, now the heated mirrors should be on currently. So let's probe these connections. Yep, 11.8, yeah, basically 12 volts. So we know we've got power going to the mirror. So that's a great sign. So we've got power here, our connection's a bit corroded. So what went wrong? Right, with the new mirror glass on the table here and the old mirror glass, let's see what's happened here then. So with your multimeter set on continuity, little ohm symbol, let's check the resistance across the new mirror glass. Now this I believe is a genuine Land Rover part, so we should get an accurate reading as to what yours should be. Let's just... So I'm getting there from cold 9.6 ohms. On the working mirror glass. Well, I'm assuming working, it's brand new. On the non-working mirror glass, have we got any continuity? yeah, 600 ohms. So that small amount of continuity there, if you do your ohms law calculation, that's basically no heat. Versus this at 12 volts is a nice bit of heat. And I can imagine that resistance will go up as it warms up to reduce the current. So, that's our issue. If your mirror glass doesn't read around 10 ohms, the elements are duff. If you've got 12 volt at your mirror supply, perfect. Change the glass, done. If you haven't got 12 volts, check your fuses again. Now, I would go for the fuses, but there seems to be 3 different fuse diagrams for the Range Rover L322 throughout the years, and to be fair, they're not actually that easy to read. So check your fuses first, but if you're, I'm sure there's a fuse that does a module, I can't remember now. It depends on the year. If you haven't got power there, then you're going to have to check your fuses. If they're all good, check any relays, and start working back through the wiring. But in most instances here, it is literally going to be a connection that's fallen off the back or corroded, or most likely a knackered mirror glass. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wire brush up and contact clean them connections, spray some contact protection on them, and let's put it back together. Then as an added extra, try and reduce corrosion, I'm going to put a bit of electro lube on them. Silicone grease would also work quite well, just to try and protect the connections a little bit from further corrosion. It's not that important, to be fair, but right. Let's see. Now we should just pop back on. There's nothing fancy about these ones. These are easy. So, one done. I'll go quickly do the other one, and that should be both of them fixed. Well, with the heated mirrors now working, great, perfect. Rear window, don't work. So, let's pop it open. Let's find out what we need to do to fix it. So, the assembly's pretty easy. You've got 2 screws in here. Someone's clearly been in here before because they're 2 odd screws. I think on my other Range Rovers they're Phillips. In this one here we've got 1 Torx one and 1 flathead one, which is strange. So let's pop these out a moment. That's that. Now the rest of this panel is literally just held in by, does it overlap this one? I don't know. I think it's mostly just held in by the clips. So there's trim clips along the bottom and along the top. So, bit of pull. And there we have it. Now, you can see I've been here before. It's because I've already fixed it. But what you've got here is you've got these 2 modules. Now these are some kind of interference suppressors to stop the heated window interfering with all the antennas and such. Now they're probably going to be your issue here. But let's go through all the steps a minute of checking what needs to be checked here. So you've got the power connectors on the outsides for the actual screen itself, window. So we can disconnect them like that. And same there. And now what we can do is we can grab a multimeter again. We can put it onto ohms. Let's just get the workbench going here a minute. So we can put it onto ohms. And what we're going to do is we want to probe between that connection there, the heated window, and this connection, and we'll see what continuity we've got at the moment. I'm going to try do it a minute on camera and see what we can bring up. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Oh, I've just got a stand. You should better see what I'm hoping. So let's see what kind of continuity we've got if we... Right. So on the window here we are getting around about 1 ohm of resistance. So quite low resistance, heavy current, it is a lot of element. Now I know the window works, so about 1 ohm is what you'd expect. So the next thing we can do is check the voltage, so we can swap over the voltage. DC, and we can check the power coming in to these two modules. So it's these two connectors here. Obviously, first up, we're going to fire the car up and put the rear window on. So that's the rear window on. We can now check the power. So into one module. There we go, 14.8 volts. So that's really good connection. We have power going into modules. So what we can now check is, do we have power coming out of modules? So this cable and this cable here. Give them a quick play. 14.8, spot on. So mine's all working as expected. Now I know that because I've already fixed mine. This is what was wrong with mine. The power connector on the right side had melted due to a dodgy connection or corroded contact along them lines. So what I had to do was get one of these off my spare Range Rovers, or you have to get one on eBay or from breakers. And I had to cut the cable a bit longer, join it, and that solved the issue. If you've got power going into modules, you know all your control modules and your fuses up to this point are perfect. If you have power coming out of them, you know these work fine. And if you have continuity across your window, you know that's fine. Obviously, one of them three issues will be the cause of your rear screen not working. But overall, very easy to diagnose and fix. So all I have to do is plug it back in, pop this back up. You may need some new clips because these seem to break. But you'll probably get away without it. But yeah, it's not a bad thing ordering some more of these. Yeah, just pretty generic panel clips. The same as like a lot of Volkswagens and all sorts, really. But yeah, it's simple as that. So that is the rear window fixed, the heated mirrors fixed. Obviously that's not in-depth diagnostics of what could be wrong, but they are the most common and most simple issues you'll find on these. So I've been checking the fuses. And I'm hoping it will help you out. But if it did help you out, then why not stick around our channel? Subscribe for plenty more content like this. Go look at all my previous L322 content. I've got anything from simple bits like that, bits of paintwork, all the way up to replacing the full gearbox and torque converter and everything on a ZF 6HP. I'm about to come out with the servicing on the ZF 8HP gearbox. Just all sorts, really. I've got so much content coming out on this one, a fair bit on the other one. Because, you know, if you're like me and you have a Range Rover, not on a budget, but you have a Range Rover because you can fix it yourself or want to learn to fix it yourself, then hopefully I can help you out. But I've been Jordan. Cheers.